Welcome along to Barbecue Life UK. Today we are cooking the Welsh burger for my Burgers Around the World series. So that's right, we're doing another Burgers Around the World cook today where I'm inspired by cuisines and foods from around the world to create burgers from around the world. Today we're off to Wales to cook the Welsh burger. So the weather's pretty awful here, so I'm hoping that my audio is not too bad. It's hammering it down with rain and the wind is whistling around, so if you get a bit of background noise from the rain, I really do apologise, but it's not going to stop me doing this cook for you. So to begin with, we need to start with a hash brown. So I'm going to be making a leek and potato hash brown in this cook, and we're going to be having a beef patty, and then we're going to be making a Welsh rarebit sauce to go on the top. So to start off with our hash brown, you need to take a bowl and line it with a tea towel. Put your grater on the top and then grate in a potato, skin as well, you haven't got to worry about no skin, and grate that into the tea towel. And the reason we grate into a tea towel is because we need to get all the moisture out of it. So once we've finished grating, we can lift up the tea towel and wring the tea towel out, and that will squeeze all the moisture out of that potato into the bowl. Then discard your moisture, we don't need that, and we can put our grated potato back into the bowl. Break it up because we want nice loose strands. So into this we're going to add our leeks. So I've just got a small amount of leek in here because I'm only cooking the one burger. If you were doing more than one burger, then obviously you're going to need more leek and more potato. So we're going to put our leeks in there and mix them through. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of flour, so this helps dry it out again as well and helps work as a binder. Then if you want to, you can add some barbecue rub, so I've added some core powder from the Rusty Barbecue Company. If you sign up to the mailing list on my new website, then you can receive a 20% off discount code for the Rusty Barbecue Company, so that you can get this rub for yourself and try this recipe exactly the same as me. So again, we're going to incorporate that rub and the flour through the rest of the mix, and then you want to add an egg. Now at this point I've added too much egg. Now I'm not going to go back and add more potato and things like that. I'm just going to run with it and we're going to see how it comes out. But obviously if you're cooking more, then you're going to want a whole egg. I've only got a little potato because I'm only cooking the one, and I tried to put about half the egg in there, and it all just, you know how an egg runs, so it just kind of ran out of the bowl and into the potato mix, which is a bit of a shame, but it's not going to stop this cook. So again, we want to incorporate that through and get ourselves a couple of pieces of greaseproof paper, dollop some into the middle of the greaseproof paper, and then get another piece of greaseproof paper and push it down nice and flat. You don't want it too thick, because by the time the outside is cooked, the inside is still going to be raw. So you want it quite thin, because we're not deep frying this, we do want it quite thin. So pop that off in the fridge while we sort out the rest of the ingredients and light the barbecue, and that will just let that set a bit better. So next up we need to prepare our meat. So I've already got a pre-formed patty, and this is about 100 grams, which tends to be my go-to amount per burger. And I've got some streaky bacon that I've cut into half, so 2 rashers of streaky bacon I've cut into half to make 4 little pieces, and that sits nicely on top of a burger. So with our meat patty, this is 12% fat because I'm going to be flame grilling it, and on one side of that I'm going on with my seasoning. Now you can use any seasoning you like, but today I'm using the Rusty Barbecue Company's cattle dust, and this is salt, pepper, garlic on steroids basically. There's some more in there, there's some more herbs in there, but the key ingredient in here is coffee. Now I don't like coffee, but with the beef it doesn't taste like coffee, so it just really gives us a really nice savoury boost to this cook. So we're going to sprinkle some on, and then I'm going to really push that into just the one side of the patty. I don't want to be overpowering this burger with a load of seasoning, I just want it on that one side. So now that we've got that ready, it's time to light the kettle. So you can stick your meat back in the fridge just to dry out and let that rub get into the burger patty a bit more. and we're going to light our kettle. So I'm going in with a full chimney of lumpwood charcoal. I'm putting more in one charcoal basket than I am in the other. If you don't have charcoal baskets, then split your charcoal off to one side. You want a big bank on one side and a slightly smaller bank on the other side, and this will become apparent as we put in our grill grates and things like that. So we've got it split. The big side, that is where we're going to flame grill our burger, because I want a really high temperature on that side. On the side that we've got slightly less charcoal, I'm going to be putting Half Moon plancha. So I've got this from Still Smoking. I've got this when I bought my Aldi kamado, and it's a nice little size plancha for cooking on, or you can stick it in the kamado as a Half Moon deflector. But I like it for just sticking in the middle of the kettle. It gives me a nice small flat top area to cook on. So we've got that in. We want to shut the lid and let the temperature stabilise for about 10 minutes. So that's going to let the rest of the metal in the kettle warm up. It's going to let that plancha plate start to get a bit hotter and let all the temperatures stabilise. So after that 10 minutes has come, you want to clean off your grill grate a little bit. You can. Mine's not too bad today, so I'm just going to run with it as it is. So onto the direct side, we're going to be putting our burger. So slide that onto there, and then onto our steel plancha we're going on with our hash brown. So I just flip that onto the plancha in the middle, so that gives me a bit of room at either end to place my bacon. So we just peel the bacon off the chopping board and get that placed into place as well. And it's quite a fast cook this, so you need to make sure you've got everything prepared beforehand. So after about a minute and a half, it's time to start looking at where things are. So we're going to flip over our hash brown, and it doesn't massively look like a hash brown. It does look a little bit like an omelette, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, and I don't think it's going to have a massive effect on the overall taste at the end of this cook. So we've got that flipped. We're going to get our burger flipped. We're going to get our bacon flipped. Our bacon's starting to crisp up nicely. We've got a nice bit of colour on our burger. And again, about another minute and a half. It is not going to take very long. This burger wasn't particularly thick, neither is that hash brown. So a minute and a half's time, we come back, we check it, and I'm happy that that is cooked enough to my liking, and we can get it off. So I've put that onto a plate loosely covered in foil while we finish off our cook. So onto the Half Moon plancha, I'm putting my burger buns, and onto the direct side I've got a saucepan with about a teaspoon knob of butter. So we want to start melting that butter down, and this is what's going to make our cheese sauce. So once that butter's melted, you've got a nice high heat, so that's not going to take very long. Keep an eye on it because you don't want to burn it. You don't want the colour to change. You want it to still be a nice golden yellow. At this point you want to go in with about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of plain flour, and you want it to look like this, so it makes a thick paste in the bottom of the pan, and this is what thickens up our cheese sauce. Now if it was just a standard cheese sauce, at this point we would go in with just milk and cheese, but because this is a Welsh rarebit, when I added that flour, I've added in a small amount of mustard powder, and we're going to add some beer to loosen it up. So I've got a small splash of amber ale. So I've used the Thirsty Ferret amber ale today, but you can use any beer that you like. And mixed in with that, I had a couple of splashes of Worcestershire sauce. So that is just going to loosen up the bottom of the pan. Give it a whisk through because you don't want it to go lumpy. Once you start to mix that through, that sauce is going to thicken quite rapidly. Now you want to go in with a splash of milk. So add a little goes a long way here. So add it, stir it, add it and stir it. You want to find your ideal consistency. Remember that when we add our cheese, it's going to thicken up a little bit more as well. So still leave it quite thin. Just adding that milk slightly at a time. Then we're going in with around 30 grams of cheese is about right for one burger, which sounds a fair amount of cheese, but in a cheese sauce it is about right. You probably get about a burger and a half out of this cheese sauce, to be honest. I had a bit left over for dipping when I tried it afterwards. So keeping it on that direct heat, and if it starts to get too hot, move it off. The key is to just keep it moving. So keep a fork in there and just keep it moving and moving and moving round. Don't forget to check on your burger buns as well. When they've got nice toast on them, take them off and get them onto your plate ready for building. So once our cheese sauce is nice and smooth and we're at the right consistency, if you have made it too thin, you can go in with a pinch more of flour. Don't dump a whole teaspoon in there, because one, you'll thicken it up too much, and two, it'll go lumpy. So if you do need to add more flour, sprinkle some over the top, keeping it moving all of the time so that it doesn't go lumpy. If it's too thick at this point, then add a splash more milk just to thin it down. But remember, a splash of milk can go a long way, so just be careful with your quantities. So we've got a nice consistency to our cheese sauce. This is going to give you a nice run over the burger, which is what I want. And now it is time to start building. So we've got our brioche bun onto the chopping board. We're going straight on with our burger patty. I've already laid the bacon on top of here ready. Then on top of that, we are going onto our hash brown, which is more like an eggy omelette, as I said. But if you put less egg in there, it's going to be more hash brown like. Take that in the top of there. Now it's time for our cheese sauce. So I'm just going to pour that cheese sauce over the top and let it run down the sides. So give it a quick turn, because it didn't run where I quite wanted it to, and I want that to be the money shot of the video. So it's running down, and then onto that we're going to go a bit of barbecue sauce. Now this is going to add a sweetness to this cook that you need. Everything that we've put in here is quite savoury, including that cheese sauce, so you need a cut of the sweetness. That's why it's in a brioche bun, and that's why we add our barbecue sauce. We just let that run over the edge and crown it off on the top, and we are ready to taste. So I'm looking forward to sinking my teeth into this, because quite simply this burger's been the bane of my life. So this is the second time I filmed this video, because the first time I filmed it, the footage went a bit wiggly, so I couldn't use it all. So I've had to film it again today. So we've gone shopping this morning. First supermarket I go to, can't get any leeks, so I've had to go to a second supermarket. Then when I'm then getting the rest of the ingredients together, I realise I haven't got an egg. So ring the mother-in-law, pop up the mother-in-law's and get an egg. And then when I've actually done the cook, I've put slightly too much egg into the hash brown. So it's more like an egg potato leek omelette, I suppose is the best way to put it. But we're here, we're ready to taste. Let's give it a bash. This cheese sauce oozing out of here looks amazing. That is wicked. So first time I cooked it, I put a bit too much beer in the cheese sauce and it was quite overpowering. That's really well balanced. I love that. That's well, it's a lot of aggravation to go into a burger, but it is really good, and I hope that it's done the Welsh people proud. Gorilla, I hope that you like this, as when I said before, when we was doing Well Burger Me competition together, when I said that I was doing a Welsh burger, you got pretty excited. So I'm hoping to see a comment in the bottom from you, sir, telling me what you think. So if you like what we're doing at Barbecue Life UK, then please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video and leave me a comment, because interaction is massively important. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my other burgers around the world videos over here and subscribe over here. Cheers.